Alrighty, y'all. So picking this back up from the first hour, not specifically Jay-Z related, but the attorney, there's reports out right now of a filing against attorney Tony Busby, which is the attorney that has filed a bunch of lawsuits against Diddy, recently amended the lawsuit and added Jay-Z's name into the sexual assault allegations. There's a man suing him right now, a man named Matthew Ray Thompson. And this man is alleging that back in 2023, he was hurt very badly on a job, so he retained attorney Busby. When he retained attorney Busby because he was trying to, just get money for being hurt on the job, attorney Busby worked it out with his employer at the time that they would, of course, pay him on the leave, I guess, while they figured out and decided what was happening and while they worked on the settlement and once the settlement happened. Now, when that happened, Matthew says that this triggered automatic payments from his employer that would then go to Busby first, and then Busby would distribute those payments to him, which happens when you settle out a lot of times in a injured on a job type of case. But he says that the issue came in where it got to a point somehow, some way where he's alleging that Busby started to loan him his own money. And he says to add insult to injury, Busby began to attach a very high interest rate onto this. Now, he claims that Busby held back more than 60% of the money that he was owed from whatever the settlement was, and alleges that Busby had a representative or had a rep already for pulling this move with other clients, and this guy, I guess, found that out after. So people are picking this up and reporting it because they're putting it with the fact that, Jay-Z said, yo, you just an ambulance chaser. You just try to get money from these cases. So this guy is saying in his suit that basically what he learned from his experience was that Busby, he's alleging that Busby became rich by milking settlements with threats of negative attention from people who rely on their public reputations for their livelihood. I haven't reached out to Busby for a comment on this, but some of the reports said that they have reached out and that there's no word back yet. So this is picking up again because Jay-Z's like, yo, you only doing this for the money. And then this lawsuit happens and people are like, oh, is this what he's talking about? Now, you remember Busby was saying that Jay-Z went and got a private investigator and was trying to dig up all this dirt and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so there's a lot starting to come out now about, I guess, Busby and where a lot of his clients and people stand with him.
Somebody going to set up a Busby hotline, and it's going to say if Busby ever did you dirty.
Yep, call 1-800.
Call 1-800-BUSBY-BUSBY.
1-800-BUSBY-BUSBY is great. That's a lot of. How many numbers is that?
That's too many numbers.
Yeah.
That's too many numbers. But I think in this case, I think I don't want to say Busby met his match, but he met his match. He met somebody with the finances that can go at him, that doesn't have to settle, and is not looking to settle. So we'll see how this plays out in court.
Yeah, I mean, I would just hope as an attorney, I hope his hands are clean, because I think if you whenever you dig into somebody else's dirt, if there's dirt, somebody gonna dig it. You know what I mean? It's just a part of it's a part of the game. Now moving on, Jamie Foxx. You guys know he's been advertising his What Had Happened Was Netflix special. It dropped. It is out. I've watched some of it, not all of it, but it is really, really good. And I would honestly call this more than just a Netflix comedy special. He gets very emotional. He's telling his story, what happens, and it's like almost like a production, like he's telling his life story. There's music cued, a lot of gospel, but he walks out on stage instantly just happy to be alive. Literally, let's take a listen.
I have no idea how good it feels, Atlanta. I was fighting for my life, but I'm here in front of you. If I dance all night, don't mind me. I'm happy to be alive.
So in that audio, he's walking out and he's just dancing to I'm on a new level, but he's in tears and he's like, yo, Atlanta, y'all have no, I'm so happy to be here. I'm literally happy to be alive. And for background, for people who did not know, the medical emergency that Jamie Foxx suffered, which we are going to get into because he finally does disclose what it was, happened in Atlanta. So for him, he says his comedy career really took off in Atlanta. That medical emergency happened in Atlanta. So it was important for him to come back to Atlanta to do this special. Now,
Tell us what the medical emergency was, Lauren.
We're going to get
Calm
to it.
down. Calm down.
We're going to get to it.
Calm down. Look at him.
Okay? All right. So, what?
No, I'm just laughing at him.
No, don't because Bobbiana's over here moving. I thought you was mad at her. Okay. So,
Could you get to what the medical
I'm
emergency
trying.
was?
Leave me alone. Dang. You good?
No, because you got all the good stuff and you ain't telling me. I want to know about the medical
Alrighty.
emergency. I want to know what he said about Puff. I don't care about all this other stuff.
You want to look at you and Puff. Okay, so the next clip, he does get into Diddy, and he talks about if Diddy had anything to do with him in the medical emergency.
The internet was trying to kill me, though. The internet said that Puffy tried to kill me. That's what the internet was saying. I know what you're thinking. Did he? Hell no, left them parties early. I was out by 9. Something don't look right. It's slippery in here.
How you feel, Charla?
I gotta watch it. I want
Did
to see it in
tickle
its
your
full
fancy?
context.
Oh. All right. Now, in the next part, he also talks about like what actually happened to him. Again, when this happened, it was mom. We knew something happened. His daughter and his sister did a really good job of protecting all of the details, so we've never fully gotten it. Let's take a listen.
What had happened was, man, I love you. You did. Wow, man, please, Lord, let me get through this. Please. April 11th, I was having a bad headache. And I asked my boy for an aspirin. And I realized quickly that when you in a medical emergency, your boys don't know what the to do. But I was having such a bad headache. So I asked my boy, I said, listen, I need a aspirin. Before I could get the aspirin, I went out. I don't remember 20 days. What they told me was that they took me to the first doctor, and that doctor just gave me a cortisone shot and sent me home. Yeah, I don't know what the is that. I don't know if you can do Yelps for doctors, but that's half a star.
Yeah, so then he continues on. His sister and his daughter, and I remember I was working at TMZ when this happened, and when these type of things happen, normally there's always a way that you can get some info. When I tell you they held it down, you could not get anywhere close to Jamie and what happened to him, and he talks about his daughter and his sister.
So what was the medical emergency?
We about to get into it. Let's take a listen to the next clip.
Lord.
My little sister, who's always played the background, now got to play the lead. They say she drove around Atlanta sort of aimlessly. She didn't really know where the hospitals was, but as she was driving around, she came upon Piedmont Hospital. As she drove around, she didn't know anything about Piedmont Hospital, but she had a hunch that some angels is in there. So they tell me my sister took me into the hospital, and this cool white boy, Dr. Schutte, cool white boy, they say he had on a Laker jersey, just cool as shit. He told my sister he's having a brain bleed that's led to a stroke. Here's the thing. When you dream about what you want to be in life, you don't dream tragedy.
A brain bleed that led to a stroke.
Yes.
I got to watch that in its full context. I mean, that's why it's important to watch things in its full context instead of just listening to clips. But
I watched it up at beyond that point, and he said that to this day they still don't know what caused the brain bleed.
That was the first thing I asked you. I was like, well, what caused it?
He
Because
said, he said to this day they still don't know what caused the
Look at you. About to book an appointment. Look at you.
Ask ChatGPT first, then I'm going to book an appointment.
But that's the thing, because you always want to know what happened, what got him to that point, right?
Yeah.
And not to say you wish bad on anything, but you just want a reason why. Was it a car accident? Was it a crash? Did he hit his head? You want to know what it was so you can start like, blam, I had a headache for a long time. Am I having a brain bleed? Do I got to make an appointment? That's just the way I think.
Well, okay, brain hemorrhaging. Okay, I've heard of this before. So sometimes it's because of trauma, like head injury.
See, that's what I was saying.
Trauma to a blood vessel, high blood pressure,
clogged arteries is one of the reasons, right?
Yeah,
my mom went through
clotting
this.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but he
substance abuse.
He said that I guess they couldn't pinpoint it for him, but yeah, I mean it's really for what I watched so far, it's really really good, but it's also really funny. He makes fun of himself, like he couldn't walk for a while.
It better be funny. It's a special.
Yeah, but because also I was about to cry with him. He cried a lot.
He cried a bunch. Yeah, he talked about his time in the hospital, how he wanted to quit, and how the nurses were very supportive. You got to watch it.
It's on Netflix now.
It's Netflix now.
I'm going to watch it later.
All right. Well, that is Jess with the Mess with Lauren LaRosa.
You thought I was dramatic. Wait till you watch it. You're going to think it's going to take forever to get to what you want to know.
Oh, Lord.
Who you give your donkey to?
Man, there's a woman in Florida named Victoria Musaev. I can't pronounce her last name.
We can tell.
But, boy, she need to come to the front of the congregation. We would like to have a word with her.
All right. We'll get to that next. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.